I would like to welcome you to My Voice. It's a podcast that we do for Friends Against Family Violence. And it's an exploration of our own voice and what we can do to use it to help other people or to share our story or to give other people power to use their own voice. And so today we have Linda Mitchell as a guest on our podcast. And Linda is a mother to 5 kids between her and her husband, and has spent most of her working career, I would say, in the judicial system as a court clerk. I know her after that as a volunteer. So
Yes.
most of what I know from you is volunteering.
That's right.
So we're just going to kind of hit your story and tell us how it happened and give us some background. So let's start with your kids. So you have 5 kids.
We have 5 children. My son was a grown adult at the time that my husband and I married, and we've been married almost 30 years.
Okay.
And he had 4 minor children that he has custody of at the time we got married, and the oldest was 13. And so I raised them pretty much. Their mother was in the picture, but we had custody of them. So it was a challenge as a stepmother of 4 little kids. And it's been a beautiful relationship.
How old was his oldest and youngest?
His oldest was 13, youngest was 4.
Teenagers are hard when you
Teenagers
all of a
are
sudden
hard,
show up.
uh-huh.
Yes.
And they were going through a lot of the typical family split up issues. And so it fell hard on the oldest one. And she was already kind of gearing down a path that wasn't healthy.
Right.
And she's the one that took the brunt of a lot of things.
That happens a lot, especially, I'm getting divorced, doing blended, trying to combine people together. It's a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot for kids.
Oh, for sure.
Really is.
Yeah.
It is. And as adults, we think we're handling things correctly, but not always.
No, and always doing the best that we can.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we fail to recognize that they didn't pick any of it. They're just along for the ride.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so from there, I guess you just want to know my story, how we ended up here?
Okay. So that's your kids, how you have kids, how you got your kids. And then talk to me a little bit about your work history, your professional history.
Okay. Probably the judicial system came into play when I first was elected as Daggett County's Justice of the Peace.
Okay.
And that's been a lot of years ago. And I was elected twice, and then I relocated to Vernal and took a job with the county commission office and did a couple of court clerks. I'm in Roosevelt, and then I landed at the state of Utah's chief deputy clerk for juvenile court.
Okay.
And I loved it. I did go to the University of Nevada at Reno
Okay.
for the judicial session there. So I have a little bit of education,
Nice.
a lot of experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
And then from there, how did you transition from your professional life into your volunteer life? And how long have you been volunteering for?
I have been volunteering since I was a very young person.
The whole time?
I started in Daggett County. When you live in a small town of 400, you learn to be very community oriented.
Mm-hmm.
And I started volunteering with the school district.
Okay. Is Daggett Manila?
Manila.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was one of the first EMTs over there, and then I taught the EMT classes.
Okay.
And
that's a volunteer position in Manila.
It is volunteer. Okay. And I helped start the first ambulance service over there. And, I just got involved, and I felt like it was something that I needed to do. We all should volunteer.
Right.
And when you live in a small town, you support your community, but you also need things to do.
Right. Right.
And my son was in school, so, I did the PTA and all that kind
Right.
of thing. And then when I relocated to Vernal, I continued to volunteer. I was on the committee. I'm really dating myself.
That's okay. We won't, yeah.
I was on the committee that put together and started the Children's Justice Center.
Oh, okay. That's fun.
The first house that was located by the hospital.
Okay.
And I was on the Foster Care Citizen Review Board. And I just enjoy volunteering.
So, and a lot of all helping roles, all not necessarily all social work. EMT isn't necessarily social work, but all helping humans, right? All humanitarian
Yes.
roles.
That's right.
Okay.
I enjoy helping people. I just enjoy it. Yeah.
How long ago did you start with Friends Against Family Violence?
I think it was almost 4 years. I think I came on the year before you did.
Okay.
So I think that would be approaching 4 years.
Math.
And I did that as a result. I saw the advertisement one day, they were looking for someone. And I had made a promise to my grandson, who we'll talk about later,
Okay.
that I would continue to do whatever I could do to help people in that situation.
And so that's what brought you to
That's
Friends
what
Against.
brought me. Yes. I didn't know a lot about it until I saw the advertisement and looked into it. And I
Reached out.
thought, this is something I need to do.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So tell me your grandson. So let's start with him and work backwards.
Okay.
Okay. Tell me about your grandson.
The one that was subject to abuse, he was a beautiful little soul. Curly, blonde hair, sweet, wouldn't hurt a soul, loving. He was just amazing, amazing kid.
How old?
He was 4 years old at the time.
4 years old at the time.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's just keep going down this path. So what were his circumstances? Who were his parents?
Okay, his parents were my oldest stepdaughter,
Okay.
his mother.
Okay.
And then
The one that was 13 when you got married.
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct. And she had a boyfriend at the time that she was living with. And she had been in a relationship with him prior, a couple of years prior. And they'd gotten back together. And so it was a live in boyfriend situation. And then she had another son who was 6 at the time.
Okay.
Those were the 2 children she had at the time.
And he
And-
was the dad for both of them?
He was not.
Okay.
No, she was previously married.
Okay.
And so these 2 children had a different dad.
Okay.
And she did eventually have a child with this boyfriend.
Right.
And at the time that this incident happened, the baby was 3 weeks old.
Okay.
So there was an infant in the home.
So a 3-week-old, a 4-year-old, and a 6-year-old.
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm. Yes.
Okay. And this is your oldest daughter.
Yes. Yes. And unfortunately, she had gone down a path of drugs and alcohol. And as a very young girl, I think she developed the feeling of herself that she wasn't worthy of a good relationship, that she didn't deserve someone to treat her nice, to treat her well. And she seemed to gravitate toward abusive relationships. And this happened to be one of them.
Why do you think, do you have any insights onto what led her that way or that she felt like that?
I do. Some of it I'm not able to talk about.
That's okay.
But I think the circumstances at the time of her parents splitting up
Right.
kind of helped that out a lot.
And we call it a broken home, and I'm to some degree it is anymore with kids. Most kids don't come from just a typical mom and dad and a bunch of kids families. That's less often the case than the other. And sometimes the divorce is the best possible option, and remarriage is a great choice, right? So, and I think getting help and services through that process to understand that this isn't on you, this isn't something that you did, this isn't your fault.
That's correct. And I think in her case, she was living with her mother at the time.
Mm-hmm.
He did not have custody in the beginning.
Okay.
And the supervision wasn't there. And she, being the oldest, felt responsible for her younger siblings. There was a lot put on her.
Right.
And I think it was just, unfortunately, a matter of her being the oldest one.
Yeah.
And she just wasn't able to, she was too young. She wasn't mature enough to handle what was going on.
Yeah. And that is, it's hard to see lots of times because they step up, but then they like skip all these significant steps of being a kid.
Right.
And so sometimes you get them, then they're 20 and you're like, why are you asking me permission for this? You're 20. But it's because they like kind of skipped it. They skipped over the having that support when they were 13 and being expected to be the grown up.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yes.
it's a very, yeah. That makes sense. Okay.
So at some point, she was about 16 or so, she moved into Grand Junction with her mother.
Okay.
And we didn't have a lot of contact with her at the time, kind of back and forth. The kids went back and forth.
Right.
And she just, from there, just continued to, with drugs and alcohol and bad relationships.
Right.
And eventually, as an adult, she did get married, had 2 children, and she did very well at that time.
Okay. So there was a time where she did
Oh,
great.
yeah. Yeah, she was a good mom. She was a good mom. And that marriage didn't last. And then that kind of threw her into financial situations, where to live situations, and just kind of got worse from there. So she did, this particular person she was living with, she had been with for a while. And just one day, I guess I just jump right into it.
Yeah.
The boys had actually been removed from the home, excuse me, once before.
Okay.
When she was with a different boyfriend.
For drugs and alcohol, or
for domestic violence.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
With a different man. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes. And so she did well. She got back in, got her children back, and was doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And then kind of, went back into the same routine. And one day we got a phone call that our 4-year-old grandson was in the hospital. There had been an accident. And it was explained to us he'd had a sledding accident.
Okay.
Which is quite common to make an excuse for domestic violence.
I hear a lot of fall down the stairs.
Oh, yes.
Sledding accident. Okay.
And this was it happened on a Friday afternoon in January.
Okay, so snow.
Snow. It would not have been typical for them to go sledding, and we all had our concerns.
Right.
And unfortunately, what happened was the incident took place on a Friday afternoon. The boyfriend was home alone with our grandson, and treatment was not sought until Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
So our grandson was terribly injured a couple of days before they sought treatment.
Injured bad enough that they couldn't keep ignoring it.
Right. He was near death. Yeah, he had a severe brain injury. And the boyfriend said that he fell off the kitchen counter and I was wrestling too hard with him. So we did not know what happened.
So sounds like you had multiple excuses. Sledding, fell off the kitchen counter, wrestling too hard.
Yes.
Okay.
Until the doctors made us aware that he had been abused for some time, and it was evident. He had multiple bruises. He had a broken arm. Bruises in different stages of healing. And it was very obvious that he'd been abused for some time. So we did not expect him to live. And by all rights, he shouldn't have lived. He lost most of his brain, and they removed half of his skull. And we expected him to not survive the night. And he was in the hospital for a few weeks and then transferred to Denver Children's Hospital.
Okay.
Where he was in the hospital for a couple months. Then he was released.
Wow.
Yeah. And he survived, and there was a reason he survived. But he was not the same child.
Well, no, if a large portion of his brain is missing.
He was confined to a wheelchair, couldn't walk, couldn't talk, couldn't eat, had to wear diapers, couldn't communicate. He
had to start over.
Yeah. And he never was able to do any of those things again.
So still?
He lived in a wheelchair.
Okay.
He was completely dependent on others. Totally dependent.
Did he, okay, let's keep talking about him. We'll come back in a minute. I want to find out about the dad. Mm-hmm. But so what was his outcome, your grandson?
The foster family that had the boys 2 years prior, for some reason, when this happened, I said, I have to call them. I have to tell them. They had a really good bond with the boys.
Okay.
And especially with Elijah.
Okay.
And so they, right away, started visiting him in the hospital, even in Denver. And they called us one day and they said, we think we're supposed to take him. And would you be okay with that? And it hit us hard. And so they did. They were foster parents. And they took him in again and adopted him. Kept him.
So he's a part of their family now.
He was, yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, was he ever a part of their? These people are amazing. I could do a whole hour just on them alone.
They just really loved him
Oh my gosh, they're loving people.
and took care of him.
They took care of him 24/7. And not only them, but their children. They had 3 other foster children, 3 children of their own. And every one of them, extended family, grandparents, friends, neighbors, everyone took Elijah. No one ever walked past his wheelchair without hugging him, kissing him, patting him on the head. He was always a part of
I love that.
this. Yes. And he lived with them until he passed away. Passed away at age 12.
Is that just because of his injuries?
Yes. It was because of his injuries.
So just a prolonged at some point?
Yes. He was subject to seizures. He was subject to illnesses. And he did become ill at one point, and he just wasn't able to come. So it was COVID year, November of 2020, he passed away.
And just it sounds like a weakened immune system and all of the things, right? So he just was subject to everything.
The brain just could not make everything function right.
Keep up, yeah.
And it couldn't fight certain things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy. So that was Elijah.
that was Elijah.
So what of the the 6-year-old and the 3-week-old?
The 6-year-old and the 3-week-old
Okay.
were put in foster care.
With a different family?
A different family.
Were they together or were they?
They were together.
Okay.
They were together. They were put in a foster family, and because they were put in the foster care right away.
Right.
While Elijah was still in the
In the
hospital.
hospital, right.
And eventually, my husband and I, we took them. They
Okay.
came to live with us. The older brother back and forth with his biological dad a few times. It didn't work out well, and so he came to live with us. And the 3-week-old baby is Rosalind, that you've heard me speak about.
Uh-huh.
She's almost 14 now, and we adopted her. She's been with us ever since.
She's yours now.
She's ours. Mm-hmm.
What?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go backwards a little bit. What happened to Dad?
Dad went to prison. Mom was also sentenced, and she was put in the corrections in Grand Junction. Dad went to prison in Denver, and she eventually violated some of her conditions, and she also went to prison 5 years.
Okay.
He was given a 25-year sentence.
Okay. What was, can I ask, what was her sentence? What did she, because you said she wasn't home at the time,
She was not.
but because she didn't do anything about it,
That's correct.
because she was negligent once she found out something was wrong.
Yes. They should have immediately taken him to the hospital
Yes.
at the time of injury.
Right. So she just, failure to care.
Failure to care. Yes, it was child neglect, child abuse.
Right.
Uh-huh. And for whatever reason, we don't know, fear of him, fear of losing her other children.
Right.
All the typical things I'm going to say
Right.
that women have to face when it comes to this.
Did she, did it ever come out if she was aware of what was going on? Did she know more than she?
I believe she did. It was never established nor admitted to, but
Right.
As a mom, and he's 4 years old,
Right.
I kind of think you have to know these things.
Yeah. And well, and you said he had a current broken arm or like a healed over broken arm?
It was a current broken arm, but not broken that day.
Not from the same incident,
Right.
but still broken. And
Yes.
bones take a couple weeks to heal, 6 weeks to heal. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It is a crazy story.
Yeah.
It is.
So where are they now? Where is Mom and Dad now?
Mom is living in Grand Junction, and I do believe she's doing a lot better, but still a lot of the same issues.
Okay.
Dad has been paroled to the Denver area
That happened recently, right?
very recently.
like that happened
less
recently.
than a year ago. Yes.
And so
Yes.
he's out, but
I don't know too much other than he's been released.
yeah, it would be hard to know without having a relationship. And my assumption is that there isn't a great desire for a relationship. So
That's right.
how would we know where he's at or what he's doing?
As long as he was in prison or under their watchful eye. We were always notified if he was moved or wherever he was.
Right. But
Yeah,
now,
but now I don't. I just know he's in the Denver area, but he is on parole.
right. So still being watched for the next couple of years or however long.
5 years supposedly.
5 years. Okay. So what, talk to me about what that has done. Let's start with your daughter's siblings. How has this affected them, your other kids?
It has affected them a great deal. It really has. And their relationships have been kind of on and off. They wanted so badly for her to get well, and they supported her. We've all supported her in that effort. And it finally, after 14 years, it's come down to where it's just not possible.
Is it similar to the get well? Is that similar to like an addict, and you try and help because they want help and they're seeking, but at some point you say, no, you have to do this on your own. You have to stop asking me for help.
That's correct. Yes, we offered a lot of help. Siblings, us. She came here and lived here for 5 years, and we helped her get housing. And she had a good job, and she was doing well as long as she was on parole and being watched.
Right.
But then when they get released and they're back on their own again, it's really tough.
Well, I mean, that happens in all sorts of cycle, right? People go to physical therapy, and while they're going to physical therapy, they do really, really well. And then somebody follows up for a while, and then they stop following up, and that person stops doing all of the things that they learned to do. Yeah. I mean, it's a human condition, right?
It absolutely is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's
so. I mean, we still have a relationship with her.
okay.
It's not for us. It's not real strong,
right?
And the siblings, they have contact with her, family functions and different things. When it
see her sometimes.
They see her sometimes.
Do you see her?
I do not. I have seen her. Let me take that back. I've seen her at a couple of family functions.
Okay.
A funeral, graduation, things like that. And we're very pleasant to each other.
Right.
We are. It's a very difficult thing. As much as I would love to have a really good relationship with her, just has not been able to work out that way.
Yeah, it would be, I can see how that would be very hard to do. What, your daughter, so she was so young. She was so tiny. Mm-hmm. So all she's ever known is you.
It's us.
So for her, seeing this woman is seeing a person that she knows biologically had her. Does she know?
She does. When she was living here, we did, talking to some of the professionals, I thought, when is the right time to?
Right.
And I was advised that about 8 years old, when they start into school and friends start
asking
questions,
mm-hmm.
and they notice, well, your mom's a lot older than my mom.
Why is your mom so old?
That's right.
Yeah.
So we did. We told her. We've been totally honest with her. She knows everything and what happened and what occurred, and she does know who her biological mother is. And we allowed her a relationship with her when she lived here. They spent time together.
They do have some interaction, but for them, I mean, there isn't a lot of a relationship built there. 3 weeks is not a very long time, and more for your older daughter than for your younger daughter. And I'm just going to call them both your daughters because that's what they are. Mm-hmm. But more for your older daughter than your younger, because it would be much more significant for her as the mom, right, in the first 3 weeks than it is for a baby in the first 3 weeks.
And Rosalind has the same relationship with her mom, the biological mom, than we do. It's see her at family functions.
Right. And kind to her and pleasant to her.
And very kind to each other, yes. Yeah, she doesn't desire a relationship with her, and that's okay. Someday when she's an adult, she may choose to do something different.
And that's okay too.
And that'll be okay too.
Yeah.
That'll be her choice.
Yeah. What of, so you said it's been really hard on her siblings. Is that just because of the failure to because they wanted to help and they couldn't ever help, or the help never worked, or?
I think all of that. We try to help, it doesn't work. And then you feel like, what should I have done different?
Right.
I should have helped.
Why can't I
help? And they lost their nephew and they lost their sister.
Right.
And then there's a lot of public embarrassment.
Yeah.
I mean, this was splashed everywhere on the Grand Junction news and papers.
Mm.
And there's just a lot of things that goes into that because of some of the outward behavior from their sister. It's been very hard on them. She's gone through periods of lashing out and very difficult behavior.
So like in a public way.
Yes, yes. And so they have felt like it's time to distance themselves. They are there and they're open to her, but they have to take a step back.
Yeah. Available if needed, but
Yes.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, they have families, they have children.
Right.
That's where their priorities have to be.
How has this been for you and your husband?
It had been difficult. The last few years have gone much easier, but going through that, it's something you don't know how to handle. You just don't know how to handle it. Emotions were so high. Anger was so high. And it really hit me one day walking out of the hospital. And as we were approaching the doors to leave, my husband just literally fell to his knees. He couldn't take another step. The emotions and the gravity of it finally hit him. And it's hard to know how to help each other. But we've managed to stay strong through it and support each other.
You said Rosalind is 14?
She'll be 14 in December.
So it's been 14 years.
It has.
It's been a long time.
Yes, it has.
And do you feel like you're getting closer to I understand that this is something that you'll live with forever and something that Rosalind will live with forever and that your older daughter will live with. I understand that. But do you feel like you're to a place where it's not a constant anymore?
Yes. It's not a constant. It's not weighing on our minds all the time.
How long did it take to get there?
Probably fairly recently. Yeah.
14 years.
Yes. Every time you have a family function, that little guy is missing. There's this big void. There's this hole there where he should be. And we saw him in fact, we had him over here camping in September of 2012. We have pictures of him where he's fishing and the cousins, and they're having a great time. And then 3 months later, a picture of him with, tubes and everything in the hospital.
Right.
And how quickly things can change.
Yeah, he went from a healthy little boy to in a wheelchair,
Yes.
wheelchair bound, couldn't do things. And he never spoke.
No, he never spoke
He
another
never.
word. He could make gestures, his hands and arms. He had to be lifted in and out of bed. He couldn't stand on his own. I always said that he was there. We always knew he was in there.
Right.
We would go to see him, and we'd walk in, and he'd have this smile and make certain sounds, happy sounds. And then when it was time to leave, it would be
Grumpy sounds. Yeah.
sounds.
Yeah. Indications that he recognized you,
Yes.
loved you, wanted you to be there.
Yes. So we always felt like he was still trapped in there somewhere. But it's taken a long time to get to where it's not in the forefront of my mind all the time. Because something like this in our situation, think, okay, the perpetrator's gone to prison.
Right.
Good, we're done with that. It's been held accountable. But that's not all. It doesn't end there. Honestly.
No, and just because he's in prison doesn't mean everything else, all of his mess still exists.
That's right.
Like he's gone to prison. Cool.
Yeah.
But everything that he broke still exists.
It still exists. And it in my situation never really ends. It's an ever evolving impact.
Yeah.
The scenario changes. He went to prison. And then someday you start doing parole hearings.
Right.
First comes halfway house hearings, and it's like every 6 months.
Right.
And you have to tell the board your story over and over and over. It's emotional. It's hard. And then you wait for the results.
To see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to be invested, even if you don't want to be invested, just because you feel like you still have to. Like, how could justice really ever be served?
That's
Right. He's not in a wheelchair, suffering from all these conditions, and he just wants to get out and walk around. Cool. Well, your grandson never got to get out and walk around again.
And that's what I maintained with him. I said, you know, Jesse Martinez gave my grandson a sentence, a life sentence.
Yeah.
And that's it. He will someday get out and walk around.
Yeah.
And we could have just said, we don't want anything to do with it. We don't want to go to parole hearings. Just do what you need to do. But that wouldn't have served my grandson. And so we fought to keep him in prison as long as we could.
It's hard because there's this line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you have pondered this harder than I am even thinking about it at all. But this line of where people talk about forgiveness, right? And giving forgiveness. And I've talked to some of my kids about it. And how you give forgiveness not for them, but for you, so that you can quit packing this thing around.
Right.
But then there's this other side of it of what's fair and what's just and and accountability. And not even just that, but preventing it from happening again in the future. Because as you and I both know, that's very likely to happen.
Yes.
Statistically speaking, that happens all the time. So at what point does our responsibility end? But how many times do we have to relive our story? And how many times do we have to suffer and think about it again and go through it again? And so I guess for every person, you got to find your own line.
You do.
Right?
You do. And that's a really tough thing to find.
Yeah. And to not be mad.
Not to be mad. The anger is really a hard thing to get over.
Anger is an intoxicating, powerful emotion. Yeah. And it's a hard thing to let go of.
And forgiveness, that's a really tough thing too, because I can forgive her. I can. And I think I have. There's times I'm not sure.
That makes sense.
But
that makes sense.
It's like, okay, if I forgive her, what does that tell Elijah? Right. Does that make him less important? And I realize it doesn't. It does not make him less important. And there are other family members and other friends that can't understand how you can forgive a person that has done this. And that's a hard thing to explain.
It's hard to hold all of these things at once, because you want to be a good person that preaches forgiveness is great and everybody should receive forgiveness and that you should do it for your own good. But you also, there also has to be accountability and justice and all the other side of it, and value, right? Yes. He had value. His life had value, and it was taken away from him, and that's not fair.
That's right. That's exactly right. And forgiveness is a tough thing, and you do it for yourself. You don't do it. You don't do it for them.
1,000,000%.
And that's what helps you get through, I think. But you're right. It's just not fair.
Yeah, and I think that's where sometimes we just get hung up, because it just is not fair. But literally, it is crazy to seek fairness in this world.
You're right.
It's a fool's errand.
It is.
You will leave ticked off every time.
You'll never find it.
No. And fair is so hard to define, because what is fair for you is not fair for someone else.
Right.
So, wow. So how does this affect, so it has influenced where you have spent some of your time, right? Volunteering, some of your services and your efforts. How does it affect how you parent your last child?
That's a tough one, because being her grandmother, and we're grandparents and we're parents, and she's the only child at home.
Right.
We parent her with a loving hand. We do. And yes, she is spoiled. She is spoiled.
She is an only child. It's really hard not to.
It is.
Yeah.
But I think we try to do as we would have done with any of other children, because we still have to raise a productive human being that's kind and knows how to give, knows how to serve. and knows how to be a good person. We
Right.
still have to raise a good person.
Right.
And so we just try to parent her the best way we know.
It's crazy to me, and maybe not for you. There's just such a disconnect, and maybe not even a disconnect. There's this set of family and this set of circumstances, and then now this family, and it's a very different. The kid, and it's true. It's true for all kids, and it's true in all families. The parent that you are for your oldest kid and the parent you are for your youngest kid is often a very, very different parent.
Very different.
Yes, my older kids always say, "Boy, I wish I had Mose and Jack's mom." And I'm like, "Well, you do. She was just different." Because it's different, right? We change, and it becomes a whole different beast. Oh, wow. So I don't even know.
Well, I think one thing that people may not see in these situations is we give a lot of focus on the victim, which we absolutely have to.
Yeah.
That's where you
Well,
start.
that's the connecting link,
That's
right?
it.
That's
That's
the link.
right.
That's where it comes from.
And that's where you start. And I would say that there's so much impact to family members, even close friends, and they struggle. They do struggle because I don't know, are there really resources out there for those that are just trying to get through day by day, having lived through what you lived through?
Yeah.
You know?
To some degree. So, I mean, I know through like our Children's Justice Center, I know that if you were part of a domestic violence situation, that kids who witnessed it, that they have grants for therapy, and it extends out to a certain degree. I know when I went through some domestic violence, when my children witnessed, I was able to get therapy through the grant, even though I was not there at that moment. It was not my personal situation, but because my kids were, it was extended to me through that same. So, but doesn't mean that it included their friends, right? Or it doesn't mean, do you take advantage of it? Do you utilize that service? And it'll only last for a certain amount of time, right? And or until funds run out, or until fill in the blank. And so you have to get that service when it's available to you. And are you ready?
And you have to be willing to do the work.
Yes.
It is not easy.
Yes.
You have got to be able to put in the time and the work. And
and sometimes you're not ready yet. And maybe you're still mad. And if you're still mad, I don't think therapy is going to work for you yet.
We saw that with the older brother. He was so angry.
Well, so he was 6.
He was 6.
And so now he is 20.
He's 20. And I think largely this is just my opinion, that the reason the younger one was the target was because the older one was in school all day.
Not home.
So he's not home.
Just unavailability.
That's right.
Yeah.
But he was a very, very angry child. So we sought counseling on our own. We paid for it ourselves.
Right.
We didn't even think that there was,
Well, and who, I don't know 14 years ago, and even today, it just depends if the funding's available or not, right?
That's right. But we saw that he wasn't ready. He really wasn't. He was angry throughout the sessions, and it just wasn't the right time. And he's doing beautifully today.
Right.
He's doing very well
Well,
today.
and you just have to, again, like I think you have to get to a point where you're ready to do the work and you're ready to receive the help. It's kind of like teaching your kid a lesson in the middle of when they're ticked off and they just got in trouble. They're not going to learn it right now. Right now is not a time to learn a lesson or have a lecture.
That's right.
That's later when they're calm and they're not mad anymore, and you can explain to them how much you love them.
That's right.
And so I think it's the same system. But the interesting thing is the impact that would have on him, because if you get him and he's a 6-year-old and he's angry and he's not ready for therapy yet for all sorts of reasons, including which he is 6, right? So he's having all these feelings that he could not explain to you if he wanted to.
That's right.
And not in a very decipherable way, either which way. And then you send him to school. And then a kid at school pushes him, or a kid at school teases him, and then he gets mad because of this system, this like circumstance, right, that he was raised in. So I can imagine when he was very young that was very hard.
Very hard, very hard. And in his situation, not only the abuse of his brother,
right,
and the loss of his mother and his home, his biological dad, who took him a couple of times and didn't work out. When he did have him last, sent him to school one morning, and he had a domestic incident with his girlfriend. And DCFS picked him up from school and took him into custody, and he's never seen his dad since. He went to school that morning and has never seen him since.
No.
We had a hearing that the dad was supposed to come to, and he came in and told us to pick up his things at my house, and he got on a plane and left. So here we have a 6-year-old who just went through what he went through with his brother.
Right. And then got abandoned.
Went to school one morning like normal, and has never seen his dad since. So he had a lot to unpack.
Which, yeah, and that also, yeah. Now how can I trust that if I go somewhere, you're going to come pick me up? Are you going to come pick me up?
Right.
Are you going to be there when I get done? Are you going to show up?
Yeah, not to mention the trust issues.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. And you take care of me. Does that mean that I'm going to get hurt? Is somebody else going to get hurt? That's a lot. That's a lot for a tiny little human to hold.
It is. And it was a lot for us. I'll be honest with you. It was really hard on us because I was not equipped to handle such an angry child. Yeah. We went through some really tough times.
I can imagine. It's hard when you have, like, I want to say a regular angry kid, but who knows what that means. But those big emotions, if you haven't ever learned how to deal with them, and when all you've ever seen is that people respond to big emotions with anger and with aggression, and you're 6.
That's what you know.
I can see how that would have been a lot of work.
Yeah, it was.
And just exhausting.
Very exhausting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when did he start? When did you see improve? When did that start turning around?
When his mother moved to Grand Junction.
Okay.
He did move with her, and he was probably 16-ish, 17, something like that. He was in high school. And what it took was for him to get away from his mom. And he moved out on his own, got himself a full-time job.
When he was 16 or 17?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes. He actually, I think he was about 17, and he met a nice girlfriend when they've been together a few years now, and her family took him in. And he's been working ever since, and he's got a good job, and he's doing well. But he needed to remove himself from that toxic environment. It
is really hard to see it when you're in it. It's hard to know that you're in the muck when you're in the muck.
Right.
Because looking out, it's just all muck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, good for him. That's good that he's having a good outcome.
He is. And it's kind of odd because as hard as our story is and as tragic as it is, we have to realize that there were some good things that came out of it. And maybe that's what helps us get through it.
Right.
The foster family that we have, we're very close to.
The family that had Elijah.
Yes. They are.
You're still very close to them.
They are my kids.
Part of the family.
We are so close to them. They are a very unique family.
So they attend family events. They attend.
Oh, yes. Yes, we vacation with them.
You have adopted the foster family?
We have adopted them, yes. Uh-huh. We've watched the kids get married and had their kids of their own, yes. Uh-huh.
That's fun.
And Elijah affected so many people in that circle that because of him, people became foster parents. People became respite caregivers. It was just amazing to watch that support system that he had.
It's nice that the ripples work both ways.
Right.
So the ripples effect of negative and the ripple effect of positive as well. People serving, people becoming foster parents, people speaking out about domestic violence. It's nice that it happens in both directions. Yes. I didn't ask, was your daughter a victim of domestic violence as well?
No. Oh, I'm sorry.
The oldest.
The oldest
the
daughter.
Mom.
Yes, she was.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, she when she left Vernal and moved to Grand Junction, that's when she met the man that eventually
Uh-huh.
she was living with, and he was severely abusive to her.
So he was abusive to her as well throughout.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just we didn't ever really touch on that. We talked a lot about the children, but I wondered if she
Yes.
had that same relationship with him as well.
He was severely abusive. She was with him for a while and went to prison because of his abuse. And when he got out of prison, she went back to
Okay,
him.
so he had already served some time for domestic violence
Yes, he
against
did.
her.
Yes, he did. And it's one of those situations that why did you go back? And I know many people have asked that question of victims, and
All the time.
all the time.
Why do you go back? And it's like what we hang our hat on when we want to blame them.
Right. We don't know because we aren't in their shoes, and it's hard to understand that.
I think it can be any number of things. You know how sometimes people will be laughing and then all of a sudden they're crying. You know how they're like so close. These powerful emotions are so close. I think it's the exact same with love and hate to some degree. And I think just because they hurt you doesn't mean that you don't love them,
Right.
or that you don't miss them when they're gone, or that you don't trust them that this will be the last time, or that you don't really hope that that's true. Just like you keep hoping that she'll get help and she keeps hoping that he'll stop.
Right.
Because then they could just be fine. And then you're tied in all sorts of other ways. You're tied financially, or you're tied because of children, or you're tied because of, I don't know, like who your friends are, right? And you have to leave or abandon or start over.
They're being threatened, or
Yeah.
they just feel trapped.
Yeah, and there are bad times, but there are also good times in between. Like there are moments where you have somebody to talk to who's listening to you. I mean, you're not with somebody who all the time is hurting you. They sometimes are hurting you. But the rest of the time they're human who sometimes maybe they love and support you. So it's a confusing, it's a tangled web. It's got grossness in it for sure. And it's got grossness on all of it because of it. But it is hard to explain why they go back. But it just is, yeah, I can understand. You could really spend the rest of your life wondering why did you do this? And I wonder to some degree if she doesn't play that to herself.
Oh, I'm sure.
All the time. Why did I do this? Why did I go back? Why did I let this happen? Why didn't I do something different? Yeah.
And I think sometimes that's what keeps her spinning in the cycle.
Oh, for sure.
In my mind, there has to be a tremendous amount of guilt.
Shame.
That plays on
Shame
her,
and guilt.
Shame. And not being able to get past that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why sometimes she just continues this cycle.
Well, and you, drugs and alcohol numb it, or you do things because you deserve it, because you need to punish yourself for the things that you've done. Yeah, I can see that for sure. A continuous cycle. Yeah.
It's ugly.
It is.
It's an ugly thing.
It's so.
Yeah.
It is. It's such a thing. Well, what have you found? So, you recently retired from the Friends Against Family Violence board. What other boards were you serving on?
Let's see. That one was my most recent. I serve on the Interfaith Council.
Okay.
And I haven't been super active with them because of certain things that have come up recently. They put on a really good resource festival or whatever. We call it a festival.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've been part of it, but this is the third year they did it in June, and they have booths with all the resources that people can find help.
Okay.
You know, all of your counselors, and just it's just a really big,
Interfaith, so all religions.
yes. There's several people that serve on the committee that are from different faiths.
Perfect.
We work together, and it's beautiful.
Why not?
It's so good.
It's crazy to not.
Yeah.
Especially when most of the time everybody's goals really do align. So why not work together?
They do. Yes.
So those two, is there any others?
I serve on some church callings, with the Catholic Church here in Vernal. I'm co-president of the Women's Council, and let's see, vice president of the Eastern Deanery.
You just can't help it, can
I
you?
just can't help
You
it, but I
cannot
keep
help
saying This is my
it.
last year. I keep saying this is my last year.
Well, so I mean, it sounds like from the even before you entered in all this other stuff, you've always been called to serve
I think so.
to whatever degree, and then maybe life paths have pushed you in certain directions more than others.
Yeah. I think I get a lot of it from my mother. She was kind of a pioneer in a lot of ways. And I grew up in a single parent home.
Okay.
My father passed when I was 2 years old. So she had 4 little children. So my mother was a very independent woman. And I think I got a lot of that from
Yeah. And just the no idle hands, right? No sitting around.
her. Right.
If I have time to sit, I have time to do something
That's
helpful,
right.
useful.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I love your passion to serve and to volunteer, and because a lot of these things run on volunteers, or to whatever degree. There isn't money to pay everybody to, like, lots of programs are very underfunded and have to come up with lots of ways to get money to pay for it. And one of the ways to take care of that is with volunteers. I know at Friends, they are happy, would love to have more volunteers beyond just the board, even to go out on calls or to answer calls. In lots of capacities, there's ways to serve, but it is a big calling, and it does takes a toll.
It does.
Right?
It does.
How has that been for you, serving on the board and hearing stories? Or do you find yourself triggered? Do you find yourself healing? What do you think
I think it makes me feel like there's many people in this situation, and we aren't alone. And I'm not going to sit around feeling sorry for myself, just for myself, because others are going through similar things.
Okay, so maybe like an awareness of the bigness of it.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of I want to say selfish. I don't think you're selfish. Let's be 100% clear. But instead of a selfish focus on what's going on with me and how I feel about it, it's like a broad awareness that we're all kind of in this together. It's going on to lots of people, and we just got to solve the problem, solve the riddle. I'm just one piece of this puzzle.
That's right. And I think we've come a long ways over the years. I mean, I remember years and years ago, these kinds of things were hush hush.
Oh, yeah.
Let's don't talk about it. Let's don't tell anybody about it. Just deal with it. And I think we've come a long ways.
Yeah, I didn't find out about women's shelters till well into college. And then I only found out about it through like a social work program. And at first I didn't even know what they were for. I'm just completely unaware. And so, yeah, I agree that it is much more, we're doing good in all sorts of things, right? Becoming more aware as humans.
Yes, I think victims feel a lot more comfortable and able to step up and speak out.
Yeah, I think we're getting closer for sure.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah.
We still have some work to do.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do. Like telling your story over and over and over again. I wish you could just tell your story one time.
Yes.
Somebody could record it, and then you could just push play.
Yes.
Why do I have to be here for this?
And that was the hard thing, because every time you go before a parole board, it's different board members.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this every 6 months, every year, and it's still different people.
Well, and it keeps it fresh instead of allowing it to heal.
It does.
Right? It's like picking off the scab before it's ready. Then I have to relive it all again, and then I'm mad about, even when I tell a story that happened, that's something that had a lot of emotion, by the time I'm done telling the story, I feel the exact same way as I did in the moment.
That's right.
Yeah, and so it, like, whoa,
yeah,
at the end of that every time.
And we didn't have to physically go to the parole hearings. We did it via telephone and audio.
2020 really helped a lot with that, right? COVID.
COVID
really moved us up in the world of Zoom and stuff. Yes,
that's right. And when I would speak, he couldn't hear me, but I could hear him.
Oh,
so here I am listening to him, his voice, spewing all this nonsense.
Right.
And yeah, it gets your anger back up there
Oh,
again.
yeah. That,
Mhm.
talk about re-victimization.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see how that is really hard. Did the foster family, would they participate in those with you?
They did not. They did not. They chose not to.
It's that thing, right? It's that thing of where my line is for me,
Yes. Yes.
where my line is for me so that
Mhm.
I can heal and that I can be not mad anymore,
Yes.
but that I can still feel okay with what I've done.
They are even, I would venture to say they're even getting more emotional than I do at times. They became so bonded to him. It was incredible to watch. And they lost one of their own children.
Right. They lost their son.
And they were with him 24/7. I mean, he was
Well,
a
he needed
high
care.
medical
Yeah,
care.
he needed care all the time. He was 10 when he passed and 4 when this happened.
12 when he passed.
Oh, 12.
He lived with them 8 years.
8 years.
Mhm. And it was 24/7 medical care.
Yeah. Well, you know how it is with your kids or anything. The more you care for it, the more it takes out of you, the more attached
Yes.
you become.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were very attached.
I bet that was both beautiful and really hard to watch.
It was. It
Yeah.
really was. That's why I kind of say our story is beautifully complicated. There's such beautiful things that came out of it and such hard things that came out of it. And so we tend to try and focus on all the good that came out of it,
Yeah.
not forgetting what we had to
Right.
go through. But can I just dwell on all the bad and the negative and be angry all the time?
Right.
It's not doing myself any good.
No, it would be a terrible place to exist. And it is really impressive for the foster family to take on such a high medical needs. And I know foster families do it all the time.
They do.
But that that changes your whole life.
It does.
I mean, you have to change what you drive and what house you live in. And
It's funny you would mention that because they had to get a big passenger van
Yep.
that would accommodate his wheelchair.
yep, it's things you don't even think about.
I didn't even think about.
Yeah. You got to have some sort of house that he can get into and out of. He's got to live on the main floor. He can't go up or downstairs.
And one thing you don't think about as we watched, he was 4 years old. Okay.
Right. He didn't weigh
stay
very
the
much.
same size.
He didn't weigh very much when he was 4.
It got to where he was he became a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And because of the brain injury, he matured faster.
Okay.
So he grew a mustache.
Oh, really?
All of that. Yes.
Interesting.
It threw puberty into works.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
she couldn't lift him anymore.
Right.
It got to where, what do you do?
Yeah, I can't lift you. Yeah. I can't. My 11-year-old, I mean, I could pick him up, but it'd be a lot of work. Yeah.
And they had, I talk about their support system, they had an anonymous person come forward and donate $10,000 to them, and they retrofitted their garage
Wow.
with the system pulley system,
Okay.
where they could pick him up and put
And
him in the
move him
shower,
around.
move him
Okay,
around, put him in
okay.
bed. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was it attached to the ceiling?
Yes.
Okay. So it had like tracks.
Yes.
And you'd lift it. Okay. I've seen things like this. That's cool.
So they gave up their garage to make this
Right.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah. The length, right, that people have gone to. Wow. Well, I'm so impressed with it seems like everybody has really, like you said, beautifully complicated, learned a lot, have all these beautiful outcomes, have some really hard outcomes, learn some really hard lessons. But such a good example. Do any of your kids, do they volunteer? Are they active in social work fields helping people?
The second oldest, the third oldest daughter, she's a registered nurse
Okay.
in Roosevelt, and she travels back and forth. And they're amazing kids. They are. They have their families. They keep real busy. One of them is a dental technician. The other one's a registered nurse. Our son in Salt Lake is amazing. Plumber. He does some really good stuff. But right now, they're not doing a lot of volunteer work.
Well, that's okay too. Like,
It's okay.
we're in the middle of lives, right? I just wonder if they are, inspired to prevent.
I think they are. I think I think if they were faced with a situation, they would definitely step up.
Well, and honestly, like we've discussed, in any situation, in any kind of environment, at some point, statistically speaking, you talk to people all the time who've experienced domestic violence, right? Being aware of it is different. And I wonder if they're more prone to be aware of it than other people, more observant. I don't know. I wonder.
They will be.
Yeah.
They've each turned out to be really good kids.
Good.
They have, in spite of what they've all been through. And they're very loyal to their friends, very helpful. They will be there with anything. Do, help a lot in that respect. And us,
Right.
they're good kids. They are.
Yeah. Good. It's fun when your kids grow up and they're humans that you like.
That's right.
And then they're your friends. They become
That's
your
right.
friends. And I think that's the best part.
Yes.
I agree. Well, moving forward, I already know the answer to this, but moving forward, how will you use your voice to continue to help and support domestic violence? Not support domestic violence, but support victims of domestic violence and sexual assault, and help with the cause, educating people. What will you do?
Well, I hope to continue, even though I've stepped down on the board.
Mm-hmm.
I want to continue to volunteer with friends and do what I can to help with their fundraisers, programs. I still want to do that. Through our Catholic Church, I've had people contact me about resources and what can help.
They know
do.
you have a connection.
They do.
So they come to you to ask questions, which is great.
Yes. And I think my biggest thing right now is to keep getting the word out about Friends Against Family Violence, because
It is
I
a real
like
thing.
what we do.
Yep.
Mhm.
But if you're not in the right channels or you're not looking in the right places, you sort of skip over it. You don't see it.
You do. Yes. I've had people, I wear my logo out around town sometimes. And there are people that have come up to me. What is that?
Oh,
and so I have an opportunity to explain to them. And that's why I
Interesting.
wear it around town.
Yeah.
It's a chance to educate people.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that because it's the truth, and it's crazy because you don't see it until it's like when you buy a red Honda Civic, and that's a terrible example because obviously there's a million of those. But until you buy one, then all of a sudden you see how many that there are.
That's right.
And so until you need it, you don't know that it's there. And then when you need it, you find out, wow, there's all these things that I had no idea about until I needed it, or somebody I loved needed it.
That's right.
And then you become very, very aware of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard to speak up when you see that a friend might need it or you suspect something. But you just got to take that chance and approach them.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. It's really hard.
Yeah. And it's a sticky situation too, because you want to maintain your friendship and to maintain your position as somebody they can talk to. Yeah. But even then, this is a good resource because you can call in and ask questions of how to support. Even if your friend is not ready, even if you're just seeing it, you can call and say, what do I do? How do I support here?
That is a great thought.
Yeah. Because
I like that.
It is hard to know what to do. Yeah. Because it is such a crazy.
Well, and most of us, in my situation, you never think you're going to be faced with it.
Right.
You pick up that newspaper every day and you think, oh, that is so sad that happened to those people.
To somebody else. Yeah. To
and then
somebody
one day,
else.
Yeah.
Your family's in the newspaper one day.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're right. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you thought you never think it's going to happen to you until it does. I know. And that's how it is with literally everything, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I love that your family is close and that you have your granddaughter, your daughter, and that they're doing well.
They are doing well. Rosalind has been a joy to us, as all of our kids have, but she's just, it's different doing it at this age.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
But she keeps us going, and she's very active in the community and the theater and different things that she loves doing. So she's been a joy.
Good. Well, I love it. And thank you for coming on the podcast and telling us your story, because I know it's hard to tell.
It is. And yes, and thank you for.
But I do appreciate you coming and
Thank
sharing
you.
your story. And I appreciate all of the service that you've done, specifically at Friends Against Family Violence. But it's a silly question to ask you how you're going to use your voice, because I don't think anybody could stop you from using your voice, even if they tried.
Some people would like me to stop.
Maybe we're not interviewing your husband right
Please
now
don't.
or anybody else. We're interviewing you. So, and I love that you just feel this call to serve and feel this need to just to help people who you can. So, and you've done it in a very personal way as well, but even beyond that.
Thank you. It's rewarding. It is.
Well,
I do it for selfish reasons. Too.
well, we all
We do.
do. That's the thing is that we really are all selfish. And when we serve, it's because it feels good or it serves a need for us as well.
It does.
That doesn't
Yeah.
make it any less valuable or good. So, and I appreciate that. So thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming on here
Thank
today,
you.
Linda.
Thank you.
We would like to thank you for listening to Friends Against Family Violence's podcast, My Voice. Please subscribe to our channel to never miss a new episode. You can connect with us on social media at Friends Against Family Violence and visit our website at fafv.org to see how you can use your voice to help victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. And if you or someone you know needs help, you can call our local helpline at 435-781-2264 or call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. And if it's an emergency, please call 911.